It's one of the greatest football days ever, and it didn't happen to Hawthorn or Geelong, nor did it happen at the MCG or the Adelaide Oval, but at this suburban footy ground simply called Graham Road, the home of the Aspley Football Club.
32 and a half minutes gone, Drury. 100 to the Swans, 96 for the Aspley Hornets. This has been a cracking game of football, the NEAFL 2014 Grand Final. It's kicked long inside 50, the big leap, another courageous effort. Swans defence getting hammered at the minute. He's actually, umpire has paid a throw.
Every kid goes to bed dreaming of winning a grand final with the kick on the siren. It's the most prized of all football dreams, but no one really ever lives out that dream. It's just a dream.
There's 33 minutes gone. He's kicked two. He lets go from 50. It's long. It's straight.
I started playing junior footy with Aspley. I started out when I was about 4.5. I played in my brother's under-8s team. I used to fill in for the opposition when they didn't have enough
Sainsbury,
numbers.
Ives, Toy, they're all into it. Goes up towards Nellis, was forced to punch from behind there. Mills has it. Nathan Clark wraps him up. He gives it to Stiller. Stiller turns around the left. And straight over the goal umpire's hat.
Lucky enough to get rookied by Brisbane. That was 2005, and then next 7 years at Brisbane.
So my name is Joey Day, co-captain of the Aspley Hornets. Play on the wing as a role. Been here for 3 years under John as a coach. My background football, I'm a local boy, so Aspley was a rival team growing up.
Here's Day. Day takes a bounce.
Was lucky enough to get picked up by the Gold Coast for 3 years, and then went over to Subiaco in the Waffle for 2, and then back here 2014. John called me and he goes, oh, he mentioned it straight away, co-captain's head, and I thought originally it was vice-captain. And I thought, yeah, sweet, no worries, blah, blah, blah. I kept talking on the phone. I said, yep, happy, I wanted a flag. And at the end he goes, so you and Eddie, ready to go as captains? And I was like, what do you mean? I said, he goes, co-captains. I was like, oh. Yeah, look, if that's what they voted on, that's what you want. I just want to win a flag, So that was, I didn't know what Blair was talking about. So it was good, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when I played juniors here, they still had the scout hall next to the clubhouse, which was obviously a long time ago. And I still got memories and photos at home of, getting your certificate or your, the end of season awards that we'd have in the hall. And obviously, the club has gone from strength to strength off the field.
1964, there was virtually 2 dunnies adjacent to Graham Road. The paddock was used for the local pony club, and I've been told that before they played footy they had to do an emu bob around to pick up the horse dung. I joined the club in 1974. I joined the committee or the board as it is now in 1976. So I've had 40 years continuous service on the board.
I grew up playing here. My dad won 6 flags here playing seniors. So I know that success has been there.
We were very successful. From 1981 to 1992, we played in 10 grand finals, won 7 and lost 3. I understand from AFL that Aspley is the largest junior football club in Australia.
When I first started in 2005 or whatever it was, we were a second tier club, not through any choice, it was just the way it sort of evolved. We were fortunate enough that a couple of years later the Hornets got offered a Division 1 licence in the State League. It wasn't the NEAFL then. So essentially we went from a Division 2 to Division 1 side overnight. So we certainly found it difficult in the first couple of years. I think 2009 was the first year, if I remember rightly. I think we won 4 games. So it's been a bit of a steep learning curve, certainly. The club was pretty adamant that we needed the best coach we could get our hands on, if possible. This was a one-off opportunity to get who we all thought, and most people thought, was probably the best coach going around, had a fantastic record. And I wasn't part of the initial discussions with Blairy, so I can't take credit for that, but certainly Tony Tucker, the The passion to get Blair on board made it known by sitting out front of his house on a number of occasions before John Blair put pen to paper.
Now, Blair does have a presence, and when you think of him off-site, off field and around the club, his presence is, like you said, it's felt. And I think you can't miss him. He's tall, he's got white hair, so that's the first thing. But then when he opens his mouth and says something, it just automatically just attracts everyone. And I think people know his knowledge and his experience that when he's going to say something, it's going to be something worth listening to.
Played senior football at a place called Noble Park, suburban club, about 25 mile out of Melbourne, or 30 odd kilometres I suppose in today's language. Similar to Aspley Juniors in that it had good numbers and was very strong and strong culturally, and we learned how to win basically as much as anything else there. From there went on to play at South Melbourne in the VFL in those days, then to Fitzroy for 2 seasons, and then finished up in 1980 at St Kilda.
The first night I met John, I said to my girlfriends on the way home, just joking, and I don't know why I even said it, I said, I'm going to marry that guy. And John actually said the same things to his friends on the same night. We both knew straight away. He was playing at Fitzroy in those days. My family were Fitzroy supporters, or my father and my brothers were. I was not a football person at all in those days.
From there accepted a captain coaching job at Morningside, in those days in the State League here. Had 5 seasons there, moved on to Sandgate and then to the Western Magpies, which was Sherwood in those days. In a quick time frame, and then it was off to Windsor Zilmere, where I finished up in 88, at the end of the 88 season. From there, coached a little bit with Robert Walls when he came up to do the Brisbane Bears. Was an assistant coach to Mark Browning at the State Under-18s for 6 years, and then went back to Morningside in 2002 and finished up at the end of the 2011 season. Thought I was retired, had 2012 off.
John had a lot of sleepless nights making that decision. He actually didn't think he could leave Morningside. But Tony Tucker just wouldn't give up. He was ringing all the time.
The relentlessness of Tony Tucker, the president at the time, he was pretty hard to say no to. He basically camped on my front door for a couple of weeks.
Actually, there was one time when they asked if we were home, and they were parked at the front waiting for us, and they had their checkbooks, and they went to write a check, and because John went to say just testing the waters, and they went to write a check, and John said no. We had to stop them because we didn't have time to think, and that's what the problem was. We didn't have time to. There were so many emotions involved, like still caring for a club that meant so much to us and that will always mean a lot to us. The same as Aspley will always mean something special to us as well. And it's not because of the club, it's because of the people that are involved.
Because he'd been in retirement for 12 months. So it was really, I don't think it was about trying to get him to coach, it was just about trying to get him to want to get back on the horse and do all the things that he'd missed for 12 months, and obviously had himself a life back and was probably enjoying that. But I think the competitive juices weren't far from the surface. I think, when he weighed all that up, he probably saw an opportunity that he probably couldn't turn his back on, that he probably thought would never come up again, and we were in the same boat, but we had an opportunity to get the best coach in Queensland.
We drove over to Aspley. We had a coffee, we looked around, and it was just amazing. And I said, John, you're entitled to go to one club where everything's done for you. All you have to do is coach. You don't have to worry about cleaning the toilets or filling up the water bottles. Just enjoy what you like doing and just coaching and concentrate on the boys. And I think at that stage, John actually phoned up a couple of the Morningside boys, ones that John had won 5 premierships with John, and spoke to those boys individually. And they basically said to John, they gave his blessing, they said they would still love him if he went to Aspley. And I think that was the big thing. It was just a personal challenge and what he can achieve if he could achieve winning a grand final at another club.
And, you know, initially I wasn't sure whether I had the energy to try and get involved again with a football club that needed redirecting. And then I just knew that it was such a challenge, and to be part of something the first time through was going to be special. We had a bit of a clean out with over the summer months, I suppose. We had let a few players go, those who weren't prepared to pay the price. Probably we were a little worried at the start of the season. We thought we might have been a little bit light, but we had a lot of good quality character about the place by then, and all of a sudden everybody started to believe.
Yeah, I suppose that the first year coming back, it was very much about the culture and getting things off the field right, and the other stuff had come.
There was a fair bit of actual football talent here, but it hadn't been developed in a structure and hadn't been developed individually to guys wanting to deliver and needing to deliver to get satisfaction every week. So we just got on a bit of a roll. I think we won 3 out of our first 5. We lost a couple, then we put a stretch of games together again, and you know, forced our way into the final series, and we knew then that we were very competitive.
Recent history, the Hornets had a win over Southport about a month ago.
So the winner today will actually host the second semi-final next week against the Lions.
For us, it's all about encouraging each other, working with, building up, being bold, being brave, and most importantly, going out and doing it.
The final series was terrific. We had to tackle Southport down at Southport, which is no easy feat.
Lucy shot on goal. Clark getting back, tumbling ball. That could be a goal. It is a goal. Everything going the Hornets' way. They've got 1 foot in a second semi-final. They now lead by 22 points. Waited for it. Now Matthews got it to Forbes. His kick came off the patella. Had to wait for it there was Hughes.
Our record against Southport hadn't been great up until then. I think before 2013 they were the only side in the competition we hadn't beaten. In 2013 I think we beat them on 3 occasions.
So there it is, the upset to start the final series in the NEAFL Northern Conference of 2013. The qualifying final going the Hornets' way, 17-16, 1-1-8 to the Sharks, 10-14, 76. They are rejoicing at Graham Road.
Just first, I'd like to thank every one of you for reaching so deep. You know, I think you're also finding out a lot about yourselves as footballers and as people, but how deep you can go with your resources and how much effort you can have. And tremendous last quarter from every person, but it starts at a centre bounce, and Forbes and Reedy, fantastic.
I remember the first time that I saw an AFL club run out on our ground. The hair sort of stood up in the back of my neck, and I think it's a cross between being excited and proud that the club has come this far.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's give a big Aspley Hornets welcome. We're Aspley seniors led by Robbie Copeland and Shane Stewart.
Certainly the AFL boys, and a lot of the boys are playing in that competition because of their size and their athletic ability for their size. Hence the reason when we play against the Sydneys and the Gold Coast Suns or the Lions or whoever it may be, the size difference is the biggest thing you notice. But at the end of the day, we pride ourselves last year and obviously over the last couple of years of really pushing the envelope in regards to what we can do as a footy club.
Yeah, it was exciting. I think it was, we played some really good footy towards the end of the year, and I think because of that, blokes were preparing to play finals footy.
Banfield, will he have a shot on goal from 40? Kicks on its way. It's a goal. Can he get out of that? He's got a free kick. Lucy knows he has to move quick. The siren is gone. kick on its way. In fact, well, he's got it, but what an amazing game of footy. Lions go through to the grand final. Aspley Hornets through to a prelim versus Southport.
Upbeat, positive.
I think a lot of people, when I first came here, thought I was crazy talking about finals in the first year.
John just believed that first year, he just believed that they would win a grand final. And I can remember him coming home, a couple of the players, they didn't share that belief to start with, and he found that really hard because he's always believed they would win.
Preliminary final. The Southport Sharks, the Aspley Hornets.
I think the results showed that at the time. We were able to beat Southport twice convincingly. We ran the Lions to a point in the second week of the finals, which would have put us straight into the grand final if we had got that game.
Never say never, but I will say that this will put Aspley into the grand final if he can convert. And the goal umpire didn't have much work to do, but opens up beautifully for Hutchison. He can go inside forward 50. If it rolls the right way, it's a ripper! Hutchison to Johnny James. He can add a fourth if he goes this time. No, he decides to give it off. Gives it to Conway. Can Conway add one? Yes! Back to that 60-point margin. 34 and a half minutes gone. We see Copeland go up the middle. Great kick. Now, off to the races they go. That was French. Kicks it in, spears it nicely, and finds Nellis.
Always handy, that kicker in. It's a very underestimated role.
So Nellis kicks long, kicks straight, and kicks another as the siren goes. The Brisbane Lions and the Aspley Hornets will play off for the Northern Division NEAFL Cup.
Firstly, congratulations. It was a fantastic, well-disciplined effort tonight. I appreciate everything that every one of you have given. Most importantly, I reckon it's been fantastic that we've all bought into a program together. We're now one game away from getting to where we wanted to be.
I've had a little catering business. Primarily it's rolling up to factories and supplying all the guys who work there and the office staff with their morning tea smoko and then with their lunch. It's interesting, sometimes I've been somewhere and a person will say to another person, he's the footy coach, and they go, no, he's the local pieman. They're two distinct separate lives which complement each other very well. It all sort of fits, the jigsaw puzzle fits together around footy, for footy, with footy, and through both Maureen and myself, we're able to make it work and fit the lifestyle that we've wanted to lead. I'm lucky that I've got a wife who not only enjoys coming to the footy but also enjoys getting involved. That makes it a lot easier. You don't really switch off. That's the hardest part about it. I've learned over the years now to switch off a lot more. For a lot of time there it was 70, 80, 100 hours, I don't really know. You'd wake up in the middle of the night thinking of training drills or thinking of things for selection, so it used to be full-time all the time, but now I've learned to control it a lot.
So it was a bit of a whirlwind, I don't think any of us really thought it was going to happen that quick. I thought we thought that, we'd make the finals the first year and take the next step, and before we knew it, we're in the conference final playing the Brisbane Lions.
Okay, we're up at them, we chase, we tackle, we pressure, we do all those things very well. Nothing else, there's no other things than to wish you all the best and the reward yourselves for what you've done so far.
Kanga, I'm going with the Aspley Hornets. I just think the passion will be a lot greater with the Hornets. Coach Blair doing wonders, having the Hornets come from 9th in 2012 to playing out in the grand final. Throw in, Forbes. Well wrapped up.
Your premiership window in this comp is always open because, the lists are rolling over so much. So if you can get a group together that wants to work and wants to work for each other, that window is always open. yeah, we probably had a few things go away, obviously luck and injuries and those sorts of things play into it.
Towards Forbes, good mark. Good, strong body.
There was a heavy sense of expectation. Personally, I wasn't fazed or concerned too much about other clubs. I knew that if we concentrated on what we were capable of doing and we played to our ability, that we were going to be very hard to beat.
Certainly not through any great tactics, because you go up against those AFL sides, they've got all their structures set up and those sorts of things.
Clark can't quite get around his opponent, squares it up, the running Brendan Colch, the inclusion today, Colch for goal, and he's kicked it! A beautiful answer to the Cornelius 50-metre penalty and goal. Three-quarter time, thanks Mark. We had 6 goals to 2 in favour of the Lions, kicking into the breeze, opening up this 2013 Grand Final. They now lead by 37 points. And heading into the final quarter, the Lions seemingly with one hand on the Premiership trophy.
Let's take them on at every opportunity. Let's run the ball, and we must get support from behind. That means, what have we got to lose now? Is what it comes to is that most people would expect that the game has got away from us. I don't believe it has got away from us at all. What it means is that we have to work, and most importantly, we have to believe.
Come on, I think history shows you that the Lions had a pretty good side in that. They were up and about, and a lot of their players had a lot of reasons to have a big performance. Some of them were leaving the club or wanting to leave the club. They needed other AFL clubs to be noticed by them, and so their performances were very strong on the day. They were very highly motivated, and they were just a little bit more talented than us at that stage.
We played some really good footy and come up against the Lions, in that final, and they were quite a bit better than us on the day, and that happens sometimes when you can come up against those AFL sides.
Works it hard. Do they like it? Yes, they do. We'll just confirm it, but the goal umpire says yes.
Obviously it was hard. I mean, anytime you lose a game, let alone a grand final, it's obviously disappointing.
I mean, no one likes losing grand finals. I mean, for anyone that's played in a grand final that lost it, it's as much as your second best team in the competition. It certainly doesn't feel like that at 5 o'clock. It's a bit gut-wrenching, and to know that we'd come so far and fallen at the last hurdle.
And finals, certainly for the first time round for a lot of players, can be very daunting. They can play the game over in their head 4 or 5 times in the week leading up to the game, and be physically spent before they actually start. And I think that got a couple of our players that first year round, but certainly they learnt from that, that experience and became better people and better players for it.
When sides beat you fair and square, I think you tip your hat and say, good job, get back on your bike and do better. And I think that's what we focused on doing. It took us a little while to get used to playing against those bigger bodies. And that final series, I think, really set us up for the following year. Gave us that experience, give us that taste of finals footy against some really quality sides.
Firstly, I'd like to make sure that thank all of you. You've been a great effort. Obviously, we'd like to be sitting on the other side of the fence, but that's not the occasion. And we just thought, win, lose, or draw, we had to learn from today anyway.
By the end of the season, everybody had the belief that we could win. So it was disappointing because it would have been a fairy tale, and not too many fairy tales occur in sport throughout history. So it was disappointing not to be able to etch our place in history. The hardest part about sport at any level, I suppose, is the fact that people walk up to you when you get beaten in a reasonably big event and say, bad luck, good luck, next year, you'll be no problems and whatever. But people don't understand the time, the effort, the energy that goes into getting the opportunity to get there. And you need your share of luck. You know, you can have injuries to the wrong people at the wrong time. Weather conditions a lot of different things can happen. So you can never really look at next year and say, well, we'll do it next year. It's another compartment in your life, and that's how you have to treat it. And put that loss in the box in the corner, and get on with it, and work your butt off to give yourself an opportunity for the future.
Once again, enjoy the day, but you know, let's be strong in what we do. Okay, thanks very much.
We can thank you for your efforts this year, not only what you've brought to us from a coaching perspective, but I think what you talked about being men and about being leaders and about being part of a bigger community, a club that has obviously got a long way to go. But you know, with you at the helm, mate, we're extremely confident we're in the right hands.
You know, they always talk about, you know, you need to lose one to win one, I suppose, and I'm not sure whether I buy into that, but there was a bit of a hunger for guys to, I suppose, you know, want to get back there and want to win one.
Guys from different backgrounds and different footy backgrounds, and you know, we've brought, you know, our experiences to the table, and I think a lot of them are very close off field. So on field, they might have a crack at each other, but they know that they expect more, and that's a group should be like that. You know, just trying to improve.
We never really revisited the past. We just kept looking forward to the future. I've never seen anybody yet achieve too much by being disappointed, dwelling on the past. We all perform and better when there's a carrot out in front, and when you're feeling happy, when you're feeling up is when you play better.
Yeah, last year, 50th year. I mean, obviously, it's a big milestone for the club. 50 years being involved in Aussie rules. We
were aware of the history and of the club, and the club had achieved a lot in the lower levels over that 50 years.
Our first game of the year, I think we played Belconnen, which was the two top sides from the year before. Belconnen were obviously the number one in the Eastern Conference, and we were the top side in the Northern Conference. I think we beat them by 26 goals, if I remember right. And to say that we might have got ahead of ourselves would probably be an understatement. We came out and lost our next 3 games.
Then we flew to Darwin to play, and it had historically been the hard spot in Australia for any football team to go to win.
NEAFL was obviously a second-tier competition, ran out of Brisbane, Canberra and Northern Territory, now Sydney. It's meant there's been a lot more travel imposed on the players, and for players that are non-professional and have jobs, unlike the AFL players, that is where it gets a bit difficult, because you know you expect them to be away from home and family and work, etc., etc.
How hard is it to pack up a football team and travel?
Oh, it's a pain, especially when you leave early in the morning. It's a pain in the arse. That's why I'm so stressed, Phil.
It's fabulous.
You hang around long enough, you'll hear a few more swear words you never knew existed. What's in there, bro? Yeah, well, the thing is,
we have to pack not only the players, strappers, coaches and all the gear we need. Fly interstate, pack their bags Friday nights, leave their families for the weekend.
Tomorrow morning, let's make sure that everyone gets there nice and early. 8:15, don't leave it late. We don't want a situation where somebody gets held up in traffic and fucks everything on the plane.
But you know, me and Eddie we met 3 years ago when I got here, and we've bonded ever since. Sainsbury. Yeah.
do a documentary on you.
Come pretty close, and I've looked up to, and he has been a leader to me.
Got the boys talking shop. Wags. Oh, there's Reese. New haircut. Give us a wave.
Just like wave.
Yeah, win. Let him. Let him.
Probably missed the next section.
Did he 12 minutes?
We'd like to wish the Aspley Hornets all the best, and also a happy 80th birthday to John Blair. Hope you have a great day. Thank you for your live in Australia. It's been our pleasure looking after you.
Yeah, obviously a good flight in. We're just here to get the job done.
Oh. Did you have a look at your highlights on there?
I deleted them, mate.
Deleted?
And we only just got beaten. They jumped us in the first quarter, and then we basically won the next 3 quarters, but it was too late. You know, the horses got out of the gate. Final series as such was conducted over 3 weeks, and it was knockout, so that you got beaten no matter where you finished. You got beaten, there was no double chances.
Good start to the day, and now we're just off to a bit of a walk and a bit of a slight stretch, a bit of cool. Maybe sign up for the autographs as big fans. But
come on, Gav, give me something.
It's always going to be a big challenge to go down there and beat them, but yeah, it was obviously a huge effort.
I remember the preliminary final when we went down to Blacktown and played GWS and got over the line, and it was a bit surreal to know that we were going to be playing in the grand final for the second year.
We went down as a very determined outfit. I'm not sure that GWS knew how much respect to give us, and I think they thought that they might have been able to play without having to put their lives on the line. Our blokes were prepared to, and as a result, we walked away with a pretty strong victory down there.
You know, that's just like grand finals. You know, you work hard for them, but whether you play them or not, it's just whether, you know, a bit of luck there, you know.
And then to get the phone call to say that, you know, if Sydney win, there's a possibility you could get a home grand final at Graham Road. The opportunity for our players and community to witness a grand final against an AFL side was something that we couldn't really knock back, and the club, to their credit, stepped up. It was obviously a bit of a cost involved in it, and a lot of setting up and a lot of organising, certainly in a week. But I think we all saw that the amount of people that were here and the amount of people that enjoyed the day, and it was obviously a really special, and we may not ever get that opportunity again. You don't get to play grand finals at home too often, so again, 50th year, it just seems things all sort of fell into place.
Please give a big Graham Road welcome to the Aspley Hornets.
You know, to see all the, you know, a lot of Aspley jerseys and shirts and that sort of stuff getting around, and just to have that support, it was a good feeling to know that, you know, just a club side had that sort of support, and that it meant enough for those people to come down and cheer us on was pretty special.
you have it, ladies and gentlemen, the national anthems. Mouth-watering clash, this one. You've got the, it's a bit of a David and Goliath battle between the Swans and the Hornets.
It is the Hornets versus the Swans for the 2014 NEAFL title. Welcome to the coverage on NEAFL TV. Naismith gets a decisive tap. Mitchell handballs it forward. Was thrown after he got rid of the handball. A free kick.
We always knew the Swans were going to be a tough nut to crack.
The Swans' goal.
They're a great football club and they've proven their football pedigree by making grand finals in both grades.
Here's D Towers off the boot, and D Towers has kicked the first goal of the grand final.
They have a lot of good footballers in their team in the NEAFL, guys who have played a lot of football. They also have some young, genuine future stars, so they're a handful at any level.
58, I believe it is, Isaac Heaney. But he's put the Hornets under pressure. Brandon Jack as well for the Swans. Oh boy, this could prove costly. Around the corner, makes no mistake. And the Swans have their second goal.
Especially the first quarter, you could sense that at any moment the Swans were going to blow us out of the water.
Brandon Jack has a bounce. He's got Towers in the goal square. Jack on the left foot. And he's nailed it. The Swans have kicked their third goal.
The first 5 minutes they jumped out of the blocks. I think they got about nearly 20 points up, and we're sitting up in our coach's box thinking, what moves can we make? We've got to stem the blood, and which we did do.
But no, intercepted there by Naismith. Great tackling there by Hutchinson. It goes over the head. Nicely attacked there, and it's a high shot, and it will be Clinton French taking the free kick. So Clinton French scored one goal in the preliminary final last week against the Giants. Comes in, let's go, makes no mistake, and the Hornets are on the board.
I think the players were smart enough to know that it was full on, and didn't matter where we were going to play. If we had played out the back on the bowling rink, it was still going to be a full competitive day, and whoever beat us, if they were going to beat us, knew that they were going to be in for one hell of a game by the end of the day.
Because Williams has kicked the Hornets second. Enormous boot, and Aspley are right back in this one.
Now picked up by Copeland, the handball to Lucy. Lucy's got another runner in Toy. Now Toy puts the skates on, did well. Straight down the corridor, it's a wobbler to French. Half controlled it beautifully with one hand. Turns around, gives it to Sainsbury. He plays on, handball over the top. Here's Holman, runs into the open goal and goes bang for the Hornets.
And by quarter time we were back on level pegging.
So just like that, Aspley with a shot on goal. It might be Turner, the left-footed Jed Turner. And for the first time this afternoon, the Aspley Hornets are leading in the 2014 Grand Final.
As Brandon Jack goes from the impossible angle. Oh, and it's a beautiful mark taken on the line. O'Keefe on the line took the strong mark and just pops it through for the Swans.
45 out, almost just on 50. It looks okay. Tim Membre, geez, a good kick.
And he can go back and kick this one.
So Josh Wagner, Kanga says he can kick it. Kick it, he can! Wagner's put it straight through the middle. And the Aspley Hornets are on fire.
Half time, I think we were 10, 12 points in front. Probably could have been a bit more than that.
Okay, it's not going to be an easy contest, but anything worthwhile doesn't just get given to you. You earn respect and you earn good things in life. You don't get any better to earn than this, and you get a good skull like that. So for the next 30 minutes, we've got to be disciplined. We've got to be strong.
And then they came out and they jumped us a bit in the third quarter.
Roved by French, handball to Dan Smith, taken without the ball, free kick. Right in front of goal. Daniel Smith looking for his third, directly in front. That's lucky to hit his foot, that's a shank, and it's just gone across the face. That's a crucial miss.
We missed that goal that we desperately needed, a goal that Smitty should have kicked.
But Daniel Smith, gee, you'd hate for that to come back to haunt them for his sake. Well, it's come straight down to Heaney. Heaney, who's handballed up to the youngster Mitch Wright. And Mitch Wright, the youngest player on the field, has kicked a goal for the Sydney Swans. And all of a sudden, the Daniel Smith miss looks even more costly.
Well, it's a 12-point play, really, isn't it?
And they obviously go down the other end and kick a goal. A 2-goal turnaround, and the Hornets are under the pump.
We might see a shot on goal here. So I think it might be Robinson. I'll tell you what, he likes that one as well. So this would really hurt. No, it's Tom Mitchell.
Because Sydney, they've been ruthless when given the opportunity. And if he kicks this, the warning signs really are there for all to see.
So Tim Rambray moves in, and on cue, he doesn't miss this kid. He just does not miss.
And by three-quarter time, it was starting to look a little ill. We were, 31, 32 points down.
There we have had 7 goals, 1 to the Sydney Swans in that quarter, and the 3 solitary behinds to the Aspley Hornets. Kanga, they've been comprehensively outdone.
It's a case of deja vu as Aspley face defeat in another grand final. John Blair has one last opportunity to inspire an unlikely win.
Three-quarter time, it looked all but lost.
I hoped. I didn't say I wasn't 100% no, but I knew it was going to take a miracle to happen.
You sense that they still had a belief, but you could see that they were wanting to know how to win or be told how it was going to happen or how to win the game. You know, even during the course of the season, you prepare for different scenarios. We probably never prepared to be 32 points down at three-quarter time in a grand final, but we still knew that there was processes that we could do to work our way through those situations to get ourselves back into the game.
Also, we're going to present us and present with the answers and charge it. Let's make sure that you go back, believe in yourself and kick it to your goal. Most important, come on, up at the ball carrier. We've got to keep working up, chasing up.
We threw young Liam Dawson, who had been fair to okay, but we knew that he had ability. We knew that he could take a good grab and he could kick a goal. So we moved him from down the back line.
Jed, the first contact is big, strong. We're down, we grab, and then we're punching packs again. We're hitting all over the place. Wags, I want you to just throw caution to the wind and really run and give us outside run from that back half.
We felt we were getting beaten or contained in close to the contests. And so rather than the ruckman just bringing the ball down in under the contest, we wanted the ball on the outside a bit further. So we also then said to Shaney Stiller, who was one of the co-captains, that for him to start back a little bit behind the footy, be on the move through the contest, run onto a couple of balls and see what could happen. And that happened a couple of times for us. We were fortunate that Jed had the energy levels and the ability to just punch it into the open spaces and for those players to run onto it a little.
Training, the idea of going there is you'll just be able to play going forward all the time. But you keep, if he wants to drag back, go back with him, and then you just keep running up and receiving it, and away we go. You just that's about being able to give you somewhere to start from and inject you into the play from behind you.
Matty Payne, who is probably the best player that I've seen in all my time in the years up here. He'd been tagged extremely hard by 2 different players over the course of the game. We shifted Matty to the half-back flank with a view that he was then to still come onto the footy and give us basically a 5th on baller. It allowed Matty to get behind the footy a bit easier, to come through, receive and use it. His initial thoughts were, I don't play on the halfback line, I don't know how to play there. Well, we just said, mate, you're not playing there. That's just where we're naming you to get you out onto the ground, basically. So, and he responded magnificently and had some very important touches throughout that last quarter.
Hey, boys, it is there for a win if we want to win. It's a matter of now, big and deep, and working hard and believing and getting yourself some momentum. It might not happen in the first minute, it might not happen in the first 14 minutes, but it will happen at the 32 minute mark if we keep working.
We'd just been beaten by 7 goals to 0 in 1 quarter, and they really made us look second rate in that 3rd quarter. They were flicking the ball around, they looked bigger, they looked quicker, looked fitter. And I remember my oldest boy Harrison, who was the runner, look up to me at the start of the last quarter and say, can we do it? And I said to him, I don't think we can, but if we do, it'll be the best comeback of all time.
So final quarter, it's Naismith versus Turner. What can Aspley do to respond? The 2014 Grand Final, the final quarter of the season. They certainly need a couple of quick goals, the Hornets. They do have a wind advantage in this last quarter. Here's Matthews with innovative hand pass. Jones has put him off his game a little bit. We'll see Hutchinson coming off in back play. Here's Day coming across, but it's Dawson with the mark. And this could be the spark that ignites Aspley.
Also, we're going to present us and present with the lenses and charge up. Let's make sure that you go back, believe in yourself, and kick it to your goal. Come on, most important. Come on, man.
This to keep their flag hopes alive. Dawson moves in, he's got plenty of height. It's straight. Oh, brilliant. Aspley, they're still in this one yet.
I believed that we would come back.
There was a real optimism, I suppose, in the group that we could get there.
25 metres from the Aspley goal. There's a free kick here. From the sound of the crowd, the reaction, it will go to the Hornets. They're only 22 points down. This will bring them to within 3 goals.
He can narrow the margin, hopefully by maximum.
So Reece Toy comes in. He lets go. It's straight. It's 16 points the margin.
Makes a difference in that you've got a huge amount of support, and when the time comes to get a little bit more effort out of players, sometimes the crowd can drag that out just with the extra vocal that they bring to the place.
It is 16 points the margin again. We've played 13 minutes of the final term here at Graham Road.
I felt confident when they went back out at the start of the last quarter, so whether I could sense it then, I don't know. You only got to get lucky once or twice and still contain the opposition, and all of a sudden you're right back in the game.
It's Clinton French who's going to cop the free kick. Amazing stuff.
Unbelievable. Clinton French, he doesn't miss, and the Aspley Hornets are sensationally within 2 goals here in the grand final.
We chipped away and we chipped away and we kicked one, and then we kicked another one, and once we got it below 3 goals, once you get below that, then you're right back in the contest.
So it is 9 points the margin. We have got a grand final on here. It is 17 minutes gone of the final term here at Graham Road, Aspley. The Hornets just coming with a bit of a rush at the moment. It is just Hoyt.
So we were trying to get run from behind, come through the contest, things that we'd been able to do all year, but probably had dropped off a little bit because the Swans were so smothering in their tactics, and they were prepared to just make an in-tight fight of it all day, and we just thought we had to try and break those shackles a little bit.
Very fortuitous for Sydney.
12-12-84. Swans leading though, 14-9-93. Around the corner, Eddie Sainsbury. Don't tell me. He's given the all clear here, folks. It's a goal for the Hornets. They're within 3 points.
Well, let's listen to the crowd because they're coming to the fore here. This is amazing scenes here at Graham Road in this grand final. I think just given the dominance of Sydney in that third quarter, it was hard to see the Aspley Hornets really lifting. They looked tired, a few heads were down, but it is this spark, this run, this carry, the intensity around the contest that's brought them back in there.
Aspley coach and AFLQ Hall of Famer John Blair on the sideline now, barking the instructions directly at his players. He can sense the urgency here. They've got a sniff. The Hornets, they are only 3 points down.
Almost 23 minutes gone in the final quarter of the grand final. Here's Matthew Payne, the NEAFL MVP. He's just put the Hornets back in the lead. Unbelievable. Aspley, Johnny Blair's out off his post. He's down the sideline. Graham Road is exploding.
It certainly is, and cometh the hour, cometh the man.
23.5 minutes gone in the final term, and Aspley have hit the front.
So I really didn't expect it to happen, but it's amazing how when you get on a bit of a roll, how things start to work for you, and belief, and that's one thing that Blair he gave them at 3/4 time. He gave them belief that anything's possible. And
so we're now almost 28 minutes gone, and it's Aspley by 3. Dangerous position. Swans attacking. What can Sydney do to respond? I keep on the deck. This could be it. Zach Jones is running. He's got attention from Lucy, and Zach Jones has put it through. An amazing goal. Magnificent finish. Plenty of poise, and Sydney are back in front.
Look, we've only played 28 and a half. There could be time enough, if good enough for the Hornets.
I think Sydney just kicked a goal. It was before that. I thought we lost the game. I thought it was done. I was waiting for that. So I was looking up, waiting for the siren.
You know, to have it, you know, them kick a goal, and even the super optimist in me was thinking, geez, it's going to be tough now.
It's for him, it goes back towards the boundary. Heaney picks it up. Oh, he belted. That is an amazing tackle. And holding the ball.
Great decision. Great decision, must be said. All the Swans are back in their defensive half almost at the moment. Here's Copeland. There's not much time left. They've got some space here, the Hornets. It comes across to Joyce. They've got to go. Here they come, Aspley. Kick comes in. Oh! Play on it is. Picked up by Daniel Smith. Courage shown. Umpire wants it. We're now 30 minutes and 30 seconds gone. It's the Swans by 3.
Because there's not much time left.
100 place 96, 32 minutes gone. You'd have to think only a matter of minutes, if not seconds, left in the 2014 Grand Final.
It is there for a win if we want to win. It's a matter of now, big and big, and working hard and believing it. But it will happen at the 30. Come on, keep working.
32 and a half minutes gone, Drury.
Jed, yeah, mate. The first contact is big, strong. We're down, we grab, and then we're punching impacts again. We're hitting all over the place.
50, the big lead. Another courageous effort. Swans defence getting hammered at the minute. He's actually, umpire has paid a throw. This is going to be a free kick to Aspley.
Let's make sure that you go back, believe in yourself, and kick it through goal.
He certainly can kick that far, but he had missed a couple of shockers earlier in the day, and so it was a testament to his ability to be able to suck in the deep breaths, go back and visualise and do what he had to do.
Chance to make amends in one and make himself a hero.
There's 33 minutes gone. He's kicked 2. He lets go from 50. It's long. It's straight. It's through. The Hornets have kicked the goal. The siren's gone. That's the siren. What an amazing finish. What a game of football here at Graham Road.
Unbelievable. The Aspley Hornets 2014 NEAFL Premiers as the crowd have swamped the team here at Graham Road. Everyone running on the field. I can't believe this, Kanga. What a finish.
The siren went apparently as the ball goes more or less over the line. So with the crowd, the eruption of the crowd and even the eruption of the playing group, where they jump all over Dan and themselves in excitement. I never heard it.
If you look at the replay, we didn't know, we didn't hear the siren. Gives you an idea of the crowd noise.
Oh, words can't really describe that. That was just a very special moment. It'll be one that we'll always remember. It was just wonderful. And it was just wonderful to see John in the box so excited, and it was just an amazing feeling. It's probably one of a very special grand final.
They never gave in, and it just goes to show, no matter how big and professional and the opposition is, it's all 22 blokes working as one, and that anything's possible. And it took to the last millisecond of the game, but fortunately for us, we got there.
And at the conclusion of the game, everyone running on was, that's something that I certainly won't forget and wasn't expecting. And Yeah, it was almost daunting. There was that many people. It was pretty special. It's just a very unique way to win a grand final.
But he's normally a good kick, but I really honestly think that he surprised himself. I think he really hit one out the screws, and you know, he had the courage to have a crack at it.
Look, he kicked it perfectly. That's all he had to do. So you got to give him some credit for the way that he kicked. Yeah, he did well. Whatever he did.
Didn't know the siren had gone just after I kicked it. I think I'd kicked from about 50, which is probably about 45 metres further than I can normally kick.
Saved the best for last, eh? About time you kick on.
It was a pretty neat kick, that's for sure. I'm sure in the 10th year reunion we'll get him back out there and see if he can do it again. Probably not likely, but anyway.